Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about what it's like to have to push through some of the rougher days that we often experience when we have a chronic illness like IIH. So before we get into any more details, time for the intro. Back in 2018, I was diagnosed with IIH. IIH is short for idiopathic intracranial hypertension. In short, in IIH, there's an increased intracranial pressure without a known cause. IIH is known by two older names, pseudotumor cerebri and benign intracranial hypertension. Living with IIH is very hard to explain to others, as it can be hard to tell when I'm not feeling well. My hope is that through these videos we can learn together and help make relationships better through a better understanding. I also hope to provide people living with IIH a community so they never feel like they are alone with this condition. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell down below so that you get updated about further videos. I upload new content every Monday and Thursday afternoon. I've stated many times that there are a lot of times when I have to either do a workout, go to a family function, and not all of the time when we go out with a chronic illness are we feeling 100%. And actually, the chances are pretty rare that we're feeling really good. At least with me, when I'm out doing things that are more leisurely, it does usually mean that I am feeling a little bit better than I do on a bad day, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm completely symptom-free. So I want to talk about why we kind of have to push through these barriers, and another reason why it can be super frustrating when people think that we're feeling good because we're out or everything is better. The reality is we're probably pushing through symptoms that most people would actually stay home for. I've talked about many times how I've sometimes been not feeling well and still have had to do things. This happens almost every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when I am actually doing my workouts. There are a few times where I will actually not do my workouts because it either doesn't feel safe or I'm too tired or I'm too dizzy. Usually I'm willing to push a little bit past tired, but if I'm feeling really dizzy for whatever reason, I feel like it's not safe to be doing some of the workouts that I do. So that's when I usually step back. My situation would be a lot different if I didn't have the support system around me that I do have, because there's a lot of things that others can help you do. But at a certain point, you do have to do some things on your own. And these situations can range from going to doctor's appointments to going to an event that is a very special event. So whether it's someone in your family is graduating or someone in your family is getting married, things that we aren't really seeing right now due to the current situation in the world are things that we commonly push through. Now, there is a couple of reasons why we don't mind doing this. And it's actually been something I've noticed since these events aren't happening. And that is, I look forward to these events more than I anticipated. And it's just because we will prepare as best as we can to go do something that we consider really important. And when those events aren't happening, we actually don't get out all that much because it just isn't worth it to go out and do certain things just to get out, because we're saving all of that energy from when we do have to go out. With having things like doctor's appointments being done via the phone or telemedicine, we don't have to go out for those. That's one of the most common things we go out for when we're not feeling well, because you can't really reschedule a specialist appointment because you're not feeling well. When you're able to see your doctors when you're not feeling well, it's a little bit easier to show them that this is how I feel rather than having to explain exactly what you're experiencing. So I actually don't mind going to doctor's appointments not feeling that well. The ophthalmology appointments can be pretty tough if you're having a really rough time with bright lights, because the amount of bright lights that you have to put up with during an ophthalmology exam for IIH is quite a bit. It's all pretty much bright lasers or bright white flashing lights, and it can really, really cause problems when you're trying to do that when you're not actually feeling well. Sometimes my ophthalmology appointments can make me feel bad afterwards because of the lights that I have to put up with during the exam. I put up with the bright flashing lights and bright lights during an ophthalmology exam just because it's such an important part of knowing how I'm doing with IIH. My neurology appointments are a little bit more. I really wish I could just do them all the time, except for maybe once or twice a year via the phone, because it seems like such a waste of time sometimes to travel an hour in both directions just to see a doctor for 15 minutes and just talk, because that's all we really do is just talk during those appointments. Like, there's not really any examinations or tests run during those times. So it kind of seems like this could be done in a much more convenient way, but the ophthalmology appointments are so much different because of the amount of testing that is done that it's like, okay, I don't mind actually going up and doing this, and it's a nice way to get out. As for pushing through times when, it's more of a leisure activity, I really don't mind doing those types of things once every week or once every other week. But since I'm introverted, it's not my favorite thing in the world to begin with. It's not only frustrating to you, but it's frustrating to the people who you promised you're going to be there for when you have a sudden onset of really, really severe symptoms and have to cancel. It's a bit of a issue for planning because you don't want to have to cancel on anyone, but you can't guarantee them that you'll be in good enough shape to go ahead with that activity once that date and time comes up. And I do want to emphasize time because it's not a guarantee that if I'm feeling good at 1 o'clock in that afternoon that I'll still be feeling the same way at, let's say, 6:30 or 7 at night. And particularly at night, I'm really, really off and on because I'm getting tired. That's when my symptoms seem to come up on me. Sometimes I could be actually worse in the morning, and then I feel better throughout the day. There's a lot of times where you push through really, really tough things, and if you're not complaining, people don't realize that you are still struggling, and people don't realize that, you know, it is still an issue, even if you're not talking about it. It isn't really something that comes to mind unless you really, really talk to somebody about it and really complain. And to be honest, I get tired of complaining and just gets to the point where you just want to push through and have a normal day or a normal visit with somebody and you don't really want to talk about your condition. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.